We're going to begin tonight with the measles outbreak that's been sweeping California and 21 other states. More than 700 people have now contracted the measles this year. It is the largest outbreak since the disease was eliminated in the U.S. in 2000. This has left many people worrying about contracting the disease as confusion continues over how to best protect yourself. LA Times health reporter Salmia Kalamangla is here with some answers. Hi, Salmia. Nice to see you.
Hi, Lisa.
So tell us first where we stand right now with the measles in LA County, particularly with the quarantined students and staff at Cal State LA and at UCLA.
Yeah, so we only have 5 cases of measles in California, but 2 of those people are students, one at Cal State LA, one at UCLA. So they came in contact with hundreds of people before they figured out that they had measles. So the health officials in LA County decided to quarantine more than 1,000 people at the 2 universities to try to stop the spread, because measles is really, really contagious, and you're contagious before you have symptoms. So they have to just quarantine everyone who may have gotten measles. So that started last week, and as of today, there are 27 UCLA students still in quarantine and 70 Cal State students and staff.
And they hope to have them out by Thursday, right?
Yeah, so the UCLA students should be released by Wednesday morning, and the Cal State LA students by Thursday.
Remind folks how they know if they're protected against the measles.
So most people have gotten a measles shot, and if you got it when you were a kid, it should still be effective. The vaccine lasts for an entire lifetime, so you don't need a booster or anything like that. If you were born before 1957, you're believed to have gotten measles naturally, and so you should have immunity. But if you're worried about it, you can go to your doctor, get your blood levels tested, and the CDC says it's totally fine to just get another vaccine, whether or not you check your immunity. It won't do any harm.
In this latest outbreak locally, officials now know who patient 0 was and how they brought it to our community. Tell us.
Yeah, so this is the case for all of the cases in California. The outbreak started with people who visited who weren't properly vaccinated. Either they had no vaccines or they had one of the 2 recommended vaccines, who went to Vietnam and Thailand and brought back measles and then spread it among people that they were close to who weren't vaccinated.
And this thing spreads like wildfire. Tell people how quickly and how one case can infect so many others.
Yeah, measles is considered the most contagious disease in the entire world. And so you can be in a room with someone and they can be like 10 feet away, and if you breathe their air, you can get measles from them. So one case, if the population is unvaccinated, can infect thousands and thousands of people. The LA County Health Department said that in LA, if our vaccination rates are 95%, which is considered a good level, we could have one case turn into 600 cases in a couple of weeks.
Wow. And it's much worse in other countries where they don't have such high levels of vaccination, correct? World Health Organization said that the cases have gone up worldwide more than 300%. Do they have any reasons they attribute that to?
Yeah, it's a mix of things. There's huge outbreaks in other countries. Actually, the reason we're seeing all these problems in the US is largely because people going to other countries, sort of traveling internationally like they always have, are picking up measles and bringing it back. And then the falling rates here are allowing measles to spread in the US. But so in like the Philippines, for example, I think 300 people have already died of measles this year, so in 4 months.
It's a huge crisis there.
Yeah, and thousands of people have got it. And by contrast, in the US, we have 700 cases total.
And there are other countries that were mentioned in your piece: India, Thailand, again, Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Ukraine. I can't believe it is the most contagious disease in the world. That to me is shocking. Here in California, after the Disneyland outbreak, which was in 2014, lawmakers moved to make stricter rules regarding vaccinations. What are they now?
So now to attend school in California, you have to have all of your shots. So when you start kindergarten, you have to show your immunization records. The only way to get out of it is by saying that by bringing in a doctor's note that says, I'm allergic to vaccines, or there's some other reason you can't have your vaccines. Before, we allowed parents to opt out if they just said, I'm opposed to vaccines. It's called a personal belief exemption. So we got rid of that.
And now,
yeah, exactly. And now California is one of 3 states in the whole country that has a law that strict.
Well, that is why we're able to have measles make a resurgence, right? Because you have to have what's called herd immunity. A certain percentage of the population has to be vaccinated in order for it to stay tamped down. And remind people who Dr. Wakefield was, because he's the one who started all of this stuff about autism being connected to measles vaccine, which it is not. Scientifically, it is not. Right. But remind people of what happened and why so many people bought into that.
Yeah, so in 1998, Andrew Wakefield, who's a British scientist, published a paper with a really small group of kids showing that autism was linked to vaccines, so that getting vaccinated increased your chance of becoming autistic. That paper was retracted. Wakefield lost his medical license. It's a theory that has never been proven since then, but that idea sort of perpetuates in our society, and people believe that autism is caused by vaccines. They sort of have new reasons, it feels like, every month for why they don't want to get vaccinated.
And interestingly, a lot of the clusters are in affluent and well-educated communities, kids in private schools.
Yeah, so we looked at the data, at school-by-school data after the law went into effect, and the places that still have low vaccination rates tend to be schools in Sonoma County, Marin County. It's often charter schools and private schools, so it's a very certain demographic.
Facebook, I know, is now trying to take down the anti-vaxxer group chats. YouTube is trying to demonetize anything that is an anti-vax related post. And Adam Schiff wrote to all of these social media companies saying, you got to do what you can, because the World Health Organization says that vaccine hesitancy is the world's greatest health crisis.
Yeah, I think Facebook also has changed its ranking system so that you get sort of real news before you get the anti-vaccine news. And I think Pinterest got rid of all vaccine-related content just because they didn't want to be part of the problem.
Right. Thank you so much, Soumya, for coming in and explaining.